weeks down, 4 weeks to go, as we are here for the American Thunder Superspeedway Series here at iRacing Superspeedway. We are here live on the Ignite Sim Racing Network. We thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Josh Patterson, and I'm here with my co-commentators Jay Mulder and Tyler Ryan. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
Man, we're feeling great. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm feeling great myself. I'm looking forward to this playoff race here tonight and this new bracket, or this bracket format that I've never seen before myself, and I think is going to put on one hell of a show here tonight. We're going to be watching guys go head-to-head, racing their rivals, and try to advance to that next round. It's going to be a real exciting one for sure.
Yeah, I'm doing great as well. I've spent the afternoon sorting out some issues with iRacing, but after missing last week, I'm once again glad to be back. And I caught a little bit of last season's playoff format, and so it was interesting to see how that worked last season. And I can tell you, Jay, it is electric having to keep track of all of these playoff battles and keeping track of two different drivers and which one is advancing at any certain moment. And I'm excited to see how that plays out with the 16 drivers that we have left in the playoffs in round one of the playoffs.
You know, I chuckle a little bit. I remember the NASCAR kart racing on the Wii. That's like 15 years ago now, but NASCAR kart racing on the Wii, you had your rival that you were racing and always had to stay in front of and, you know, beat to win. And it almost reminds me of that a little bit. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely going to be interesting as practice is going to be wrapping up right here. Let's take a quick look at those playoff standings. As we see our bracket here after race 4 at Auto Club, 16 drivers remain. Of the highlights, Jace Lafort takes on Tyler Clunan here, the 1 seed against the 16 seed. We'll see if an upset happens there. Another couple interesting matchups here. We got Jeremy Berger and Nick Wheeler, the 8 and 9 seed, going head-to-head. Randy Cornwell, series sponsor Quentin Steinbach, going head-to-head as well. And 8 matchups here tonight with those 16 drivers, all looking to move on and get to the final round. Let's also take a look at your season schedule. We started off at Daytona 2008, all the way back in late May there. Then we headed to Talladega Superspeedway, followed by Pocono Raceway, and finished our regular season at Auto Club Speedway. Now we are here for 50 laps at the Mega iRacing Superspeedway. Next week, we'll head to Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. Following that, Nashville Superspeedway, and finishing off your Season 3 schedule at Daytona International Speedway, right back where we started. Qualifying is going to get underway here as we see a gamut of drivers going out on track, looking to go to the top of the board. Starting off with Stephen Shake here. He's a playoff driver. All the playoff drivers will be denoted on the broadcast with those bright yellow, flow yellow lines underneath their numbers. So look out for that to find your playoff drivers. I believe a select few also have distinct playoff paint schemes. I know the Full Throttle Motorsports trucks are all in plain black schemes for their playoff run here. So yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of storylines going on. Going to be an interesting watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to bring up here, the fuel strategy tonight's going to be a little interesting. It's about 13, 15 laps on fuel here, and it's a 50-lap race. So we're going to see guys come down pit road quite often. And this big 3-mile track, you definitely don't want to be caught out sputtering or whatever. But also getting to pit road here, very difficult. You come off that banking to that literally flat apron, and you can get way out of shape. You can have a lot of problems, and it's a short run between that turn 4 banking and that pit road speed. So it's going to be tough for these guys to come down pit road under green, and pit strategy definitely going to be a story to look at here tonight.
Yeah, I feel like pit strategy is always something that we talk a lot about in these races, and iRacing Superspeedway, as you mentioned, adds a little bit of a challenge to that with how the pit road is set up. But I'm really excited to see how these playoff battles add to that pit strategy, because I know late last season we saw some different playoff battles split strategies late in races, and really it came down to the wire in a lot of them to see which strategy was going to work. Like that, the playoffs just added a fantastic element to these races in general, and especially to that pit strategy that you were talking about.
Tyler Clunan top of the boards right now. He will go a little slower on his second lap, but still enough to stay on the top of the boards. But Logan Hamilton's going to actually deny him of that position. Fellow playoff driver in the 44 truck will go to the top of the boards for the time being. Other trucks out on track. Paul Tyler getting his first flying lap. Everyone trying to go to the front. That is on track. Currently a very tight margin up in front with just a 1/100th of a second separating the top two.
I think it's interesting that we're... Go ahead,
Tyler.
I'll take it. I think it's interesting that we're seeing a little bit... obviously, there's some exceptions, and we've only got 11 cars setting a time so far, but we're kind of seeing the cream rise to the top a little bit. These playoff drivers are setting very good lap times, and I think we're going to see that throughout the entire race. We're going to see a lot of those playoff drivers at the front for a lot of this show, just because they know that if they even slip up the slightest little bit, they're going to bury themselves in that field. And if you bury yourself in the field, then your playoff rival, that person you're head-to-head against in the bracket, is just going to squeeze right by you and take that playoff spot from you. And so you're going to see, like I said, the cream rising to the top here. You're going to see those playoff drivers battling just as hard as everybody else, if not a little bit harder.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this racetrack, very unique. It's 3 miles and crazy high banking. I think the rumors that they took back in NASCAR 2003, they took Martinsville and just expanded it several times over until it became a half-mile super speedway, or a 3-mile super speedway rather. And that's kind of the shape of the track here. Very long straightaways and tight corners. It's going to be tough to make a run on the outside or do anything like that. A lot of the passing is going to happen down the straightaways, and a lot of the blocking as well is going to happen down those straightaways.
This qualifying is going to finish up here. We will get to our starting grid. Carson Kenny going to be your pole sitter here, a non-playoff spoiler. Sets a fast lap late. Logan Hamilton will be to his outside in position number 2. Tyler Clunan starts in 3rd place. Brian Kenny to his outside on row 2. Tim Averill will be P5 inside of row 3. Dalton Wilson to his outside. 7th place is Paul Tyler, who we're watching there late. Chris Lewis, fellow playoff driver, on his outside. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be the duo of Steven Shake and Nick Wheeler.
Looking back outside our top 10, we got row 6, Jeremy Berger, going to roll off 11th here alongside Joseph Smith in 12th. Then we're going to have Matthew Wood in 13th place and Bryson Bird rolling off 14th. Then we look further back, it's Henry Clapper rolling off 15th and Jace Lafort, P16. Moving on now, we got Randy Cornwell, of course, that Cornwell barbecue sauce. He's going to roll off 17th tonight, and Quentin Steinbach, 18th. And rounding our top 20, we've got Christian Berger in 19th and Aaron Beaver in 20th. And then rounding our field, we got Jesse Meyer bringing up the rear in 21st.
Bit of a smaller field here tonight. Not to bring up last week's controversial end to the race. We saw a great race last week at Auto Club, however, turned into some controversy after some intentional wrecking. The league admins have gone through and taken care of the problem and those associated, and that is a big part of why we're seeing a bit of a reduced field here tonight. But 21 trucks, still a stout field, a lot of really great drivers in this one, so going to be ready to put on a show. Before we get to the green flag, let's take a look at both your track and race info. We're here at iRacing Superspeedway in Concord, USA. Track length just under 3 miles. Configuration is the oval. There's only one configuration here, and it is a very, very big one. 4 turns in the oval here, and an altitude of just south of 150 feet above sea level. Our race info tonight, we have 50 laps here at the 3 Mile Oval with a race distance just under 150 miles. Track temp currently sits at a hefty 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Trucks here, 21 of them. Strength of field is 2,338 iRating, and in-game time is just after 4 p.m. A longer pace lap here at the iRacing Superspeedway gives us time to also take some stabs at picks for both tonight and for the championship here in a couple weeks' time. What are you guys thinking?
Well, I'd be a fool if I didn't take Jace LaForte, the #1 seed, and he's been dominant all season long. He's got a great group of teammates. He's going to be strong here, and I think not only is he going to win tonight, but I think he takes some of the championship.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the same driver to both win tonight and win the championship, just as you did. But I think I'm gonna switch it up and go with Tim Averill. I think I picked him previously in the season, but he's had a lot of strong runs. Not quite sure that he's put it together in the way that is necessary to win a championship quite yet, but I really like the way I've seen him kind of drive to the front in a lot of these races. So my pick for both this race and the championship is Tim Averill in the 3 truck.
So we're going to head through the Cornwall Barbecue Sauce restart zone for the first time tonight. We're going to go green flag racing here at iRacing Superspeedway, here in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series.
Yeah, very clean restart, or very clean initial start right there. This racetrack tough to restart at, and the increased pace speed. It's about 80 miles per hour for pace speed. So these guys are really coming up on that zone, and checkups can be a big problem. But these guys all kept it clean as we got some 3 wide already going on off of turn 2.
Yeah, we're seeing those trucks spread all the way out using every inch of this racetrack. You know, with how the banking is set up into this track, you're not really going to see some of that traditional pack racing like we see. Of course, it's going to be a pack, but we're going to see a lot more of that line changing. As we see him go 4 wide all the way up to the top, we're going to see a lot of line changing.
Oh, and they're wrecking in the back. Jesse Meyer and Aaron Beaver get together, and that's going to bring out our first caution flag of the night. Seemed like some incidental contact there. Both trucks seem to be fairly clean. Let's go get our first replay of the night.
Yeah, neither of those drivers in our playoff bracket here.
As that transition into turn 3 is so hard there. Jesse Meyer gets sideways and then just comes up and clips the 97 truck of Aaron Beaver. And both go for relatively harmless spins there, so they're going to be able to go and not worry about too much damage there for those 2 trucks.
Yeah, a bit of unfortunate timing for me. I was just getting ready to talk about the transition in these corners. You see guys wash way up the track. I mean, sometimes that splitter will bang off the racetrack, you bottom out and just go straight, or you can spin out all on your own. It's tough getting into these corners. This is probably the toughest super speedway on iRacing from that perspective, because it can get rough just riding around.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with you see these drivers going 3-4 wide into the corners, and it's a bit hectic, obviously. I mean, with the banking going from relatively flat to, I mean, you can see the track is taking up the entire screen right now, just banking there. It's an intense transition, and if you get it wrong, even in the slightest, it's could spell disaster for you. And luckily, disaster, well, there was still a yellow flag. Disaster was relatively avoided for those 2 drivers, so able to keep it somewhat clean on their race trucks as we see some drivers hitting pit road.
Yeah, just as I was saying before our crash happened, of course this is traditional pack racing in the sense that we're going to be following each other in the draft, but that transition, like we've talked about, that from that flat to that really high bank is what we're going to see cause a lot of those lane changes, a lot of that spreading of the field, just a lot of these things that we don't traditionally associate with super speedway racing at places such as Daytona or Talladega. We're going to see just that extra little curveball thrown at these drivers where they have to deal with something else and they have to kind of edit their strategy and maybe come up with a different technique to approach this race as they would, as opposed to what they would at a different track.
Yeah, of course, fuel being very important. We see those full throttle trucks come down pit road there, and perhaps maybe trying to get to the rear of the field, but also making sure they have that gas tank full and have more options in their pit strategy. Of course, only one lap in.
Look at something here. I saw them going on the backstretch real quick, and I mean, it just shows with a track that's this big, you have to bring the pace speed up quite a bit. I mean, the pace truck right now going 90 mile an hour on the backstretch, so able to get these guys around a little quicker than they normally would if they were going a standard 55 or 60 miles an hour, which is what we normally see under pacing in the iRacing service. So an elevated pit speed or pace speed here, and that'll help us get through these caution laps just a little bit quicker.
I'm hopefully not forecasting anything, but if we do get more cautions, it'll be nice to hopefully breeze through them a little bit and keep this race nice and sweet like that Cornwall barbecue sauce, of course. The sweet, the spicy, and the honey jalapeno flavors. Gotta get yourself a bottle. That stuff is good.
For sure, as we're going to see the pace truck's lights go off this time by, which means we are heading to 1 lap to go until we get back to that Cornwall barbecue sauce restart zone. For our first restart of the night here early, just coming to lap 5. Hopefully, these guys have seen it. In baseball terms, it's almost like seeing your first strike. They've seen their first strike, and now they can hopefully hit a grand slam for the rest of this one. So, hopefully that analogy made sense. But yeah, they've seen how this track is going to work, seen how that banking is up close and in person now. So hopefully they're going to be used to it and able to avoid an incident like we just saw again.
I mean, I appreciate the baseball analogy, but really, baseball, it's World Cup season, man.
Well,
how about Team Canada advancing to the round of 32?
I don't believe we're in Canada here. I think we're in Concord.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I
Maybe
think that's
Tyler
a little
can tell
far.
us. Tyler can tell us a little bit about the United States.
Yeah, we're still waiting on kickoff for the United States game, 10 o'clock Eastern, but we'll see. Canada couldn't really wrap it up in their last World Cup game. Let's see if the United States can. I know we've already clinched the knockout round and we've clinched first place in our group, so a little bit less on the line and a little bit maybe some players getting a little bit more playing time. We're going to bench our starters a little bit, save the legs, but excited for the United States versus Turkey later on.
Yeah, definitely was a nail biter yesterday for Canada.
The U.S. may be resting their legs, but I believe these trucks are about to be stretching theirs as we go through the Cornwall barbecue sauce restart zone and go back racing here, coming to lap 5 of 50 here at iRacing Superspeedway.
Yeah, another really calm restart. I mean, it didn't work out so great last time getting into turn 3, but these guys have kept it really clean on these restarts. I'm very impressed. Is Logan Hamilton going to look to the outside and take the lead for himself here, it looks like?
Bit of a heartbreak last week from Hamilton. Got teammate behind him, giving him a good push, as well as Jeremy Berger there in third. Yeah, a bit of a heartbreak for him last week as he came up just short of Matthew Wood, as Matthew Wood able to take home the victory there at Auto Club. Logan Hamilton had the race strategy, and we've got one going around. Jeremy Berger in front of the field.
Big crash!
Huge
involved.
incident.
My goodness. We're going to have to go up and down the list, but many contenders involved right there. That one, there were multiple wrecks that all happened at once getting into turn 3. We talked about the transitions, but oh my goodness, did not expect that at all.
I believe if that was in a baseball analogy again, that would be a hit by pitch. See, I mean, there were multiple incidents there, and some vicious hits for. I mean, that's borderline more than half of the field so early here. The truck's able to continue on. I've seen Paul Tyler there without a front end. He's gonna have a hard time even getting that one back to pit road. Let's go back and get an onboard with the 77 truck and see if there was really anything you could do there. Oop.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you see these trucks, they grip up and start going up toward that wall, and just crazy impacts that they have. It just blows the engine immediately.
Yeah, just looking at it here, I think we're going to want to go on board with the 25 truck of Christian Berger, or see what's going on around him, because I believe the 2 Bergers are what started that initial wreck there. Just kind of running out of room.
Yeah, let's on board with the 25 of Christian Berger. He goes down to the inside of Jeremy Berger. It looks like he got a good run. He got a little too low. Oh, Jeremy almost squeezed him down there. Playoff contender. Just not able to hold on to it, and absolute chaos behind.
Yeah, we talk about the transitions, but also the apron here, not like Talladega or even Daytona where it's, you have a little bit of forgiveness. This apron is flat, virtually flat compared to the super high banks in the corners here. It's crazy. Even the pace truck looks like it's sliding around a little bit right now. But whole field came down pit road right there.
Yeah, it's not surprising. We're seeing a lot of trucks having to repair damage, and of course, anybody that didn't come down pit road under that first stop is going to come down now to take fuel. So a little bit of a leveling of the playing field for the fuel strategy-wise, but definitely taking out some of the playing field for a lot of these trucks that have heavy, heavy damage.
Yeah, and looking at our playoff bracket, Paul Tyler goes a lap down. He was involved in that crash, and his rival is Tim Averill, who runs second right now as they come up pit road.
He got off the lead in first.
So came out in first.
So that battle is sandwiching the field.
Well, that battle I believe is over because Paul Tyler has disconnected from the session. So Paul Tyler out of this race for now. Obviously that he could come back, but right now Paul Tyler out of the race.
I believe that engine got ejected from that race truck right there. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to fix that one, even if he comes back into the session. But we see Paul Tyler out of the race. Very unfortunate. As he made the playoffs, but not able to continue his run here tonight. So that is our first playoff battle decided. That's going to be Tim Averill moving on to the next round. Was helped out by the fan vote earlier in the season, and now is helped out from an early retirement from Paul Tyler. So now he can go for broke.
Yeah, that really helps my pick at the beginning of the race. Remember, I picked him to both win the race and to win the championship. We're one step closer on the championship front, and having the ability to go all out might help him win this race too.
Yeah, looking up and down our playoff bracket, Jeremy Berger, he was involved. He was in that 21 truck. He was right up front and got turned around. He's a lap down now, and his rival being Nick Wheeler, who is still on the lead lap in the pace field here, so he should be okay, I believe. That's the number 12 truck. But a lot of these battles getting kind of tossed around here. Yeah, it's interesting. It's all unfolding here in the first 10 laps.
It's crazy how that goes. I mean, with this bracket style elimination that we are not particularly accustomed to seeing in racing, it definitely throws a wrench into the works here. And some of these playoff battles already done, and it's only lap 8. So I mean, unfortunate to see wrecks happening this early, but it is a product of Superspeedway racing and a product of especially a track like this with transitions that are so rough. But some able to make it through as we come around turn 4 to get back to the Cornwall barbecue sauce restart zone.
Yeah, and don't tune out yet because row 2 and 3 nose to tail right now. We've got Dalton Wilson and Matthew Wood. They are against each other, and they're still in this thing. They're right there on the bottom in the number 8 truck and number 16 trucks on that bottom lane.
We're back racing here on lap 9 of 50 here in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. I believe there's down to 15 trucks all in that lead lap. Couple trucks 1 lap down. Definitely a reduced field size from what we saw just 9 laps ago. But Logan Hamilton's going to move down in front of teammate Tim Averill and take the race lead.
I mean, I get your baseball analogy about, you know, watching that first pitch, getting a feel for things, but it didn't work out well last time. Hopefully these guys can attack turn 3 with a little more calm here, but we're going to see Matthew Wood move to the outside of his rival right there, and he'll take that spot in the bracket. But, oh, those guys hitting the apron, getting them on the corner, you can't be doing that. It's causing problems, and it's just not good. It was further back in the pack there, but yeah, it's just going to shoot your truck straight up the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a danger spot there coming through both ends of this racetrack with the transitions. But, you know, that being said, I feel like it's definitely worse in turn 3 than it is in turn 1 there. I mean, it seems like turn 3 is much more of a danger zone. They're keeping it pretty calm right now, though. Single filed out in those first 2 spots. Matthew Wood first truck on the outside. But a smaller pack here, just 12 trucks in the lead pack. Or, sorry, 11 trucks in the lead pack with Chase Lafort rounding out the rear.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of doubling up just behind your leaders here, and you're already seeing the trouble with doubling up. These cars on the inside line are kind of hitting that bump and that transition into the banking, and they're shooting up the racetrack, which is causing the outside line to shoot up the racetrack. And with how wide this track is, it's almost impossible to really go much higher than that second or third lane up, or you're just creating too much distance around the track. So when that outside line shoots up the racetrack, they're carrying too much distance and they're losing a lot of ground to that inside line. So I think we're going to see a lot of blocking, might not be the right word, but just holding position on that inside line, as we already see 4 TI Racing trucks controlling that bottom line at the front of the pack.
TI Racing proving to be strong here at iRacing Superspeedway. I believe they were able to get the win here 1 season ago. Don't quote me on that. But if memory serves correct, they were able to get the win here 1 season ago. Looking to do the same here tonight and improve their odds of making their way to the final round. Having as many trucks as possible. Although Matthew Wood's going to get a huge push from Jesse Meyer and Aaron Beaver, and he's actually going to get his nose in front of the 44 on the outside.
Yeah, I did a little investigation there, and the wind is giving them a tailwind of about 14 miles per hour. It's dropped down a little bit to 10 now, but big tailwind getting into turn 3, so that might be part of why we're seeing guys get real shape there. I had to look at where the sun was and look at everything to try and piece it together, but yeah, tailwind getting into turn number 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Luckily, in the Discord for this series, we have a great resource where we can look at the career stats for every driver and every track in the series history. And this series has gone to iRacing Superspeedway.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Jesse Meyer gets turned into pit road. Caution does not come out because he gets out of the way off the racetrack. It looks like the truck might be okay.
Wow.
Gets
very
turned around
unfortunate.
there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting incident to say the least.
It's like a quick
I
replay.
thought he was going to flip over the pit wall there for a second. That truck thankfully came back down on all 4, but unbelievable. Have a look at the replay. Just, yeah, gets, bumpers didn't line up there, and yeah.
Lucky to avoid that pit barrier.
Yeah. I thought he was going to hit the barrier, then I thought he was going to flip over. Hopefully not too much damage and get back out there, but wow, really, really crazy right there.
Unfortunately, I believe that's going to be some sort of penalty for entering pit road too fast. I know the pit line here is quite a bit in, but I do believe he was probably going upwards of 200 miles an hour by the time he got there, so I don't think he was able to get it slowed down enough to meet pit road speed.
Yeah, no,
That's
very unfortunate there.
That's a good point you bring up, actually. I believe the trucks are unrestricted at this racetrack as well, so they don't have that restrictor plate, and they do get up to pretty much the highest speed they can go. And they're averaging about 198 miles per hour all the way around the racetrack, 200 in the draft, and they're getting up to 205 even at times when they're pushing.
Yeah, we see Matthew Wood here coming down into turn 3 with that tailwind you said, you mentioned earlier. That's 203 for your race leader, and that's super impressive from these trucks. I mean, they're going for broke right now. I mean, they're just hauling down the backstretch of this racetrack.
Yeah, and you saw right there, they split that lap truck. The 8 truck had to go up the racetrack. That's Dalton Wilson. He had to go up to like a 5th or 6th groove there to get around that lap truck, but giving each other lots of room there because, yeah, these entries can get a little sketchy.
Well, just going back a little bit to what I was saying before, we saw a truck going down pit road at a ridiculous speed. We have a great resource in this series where we can look at the stats for every driver and every track. And just looking back, this series has gone to iRacing Superspeedway twice. And without realizing it, we were talking about the dominance of TI Racing here, and you brought up how you thought TI Racing had won here previously. And then my pick to win this race was Tim Averill. But without realizing it, in both trips to iRacing Superspeedway in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series, Tim Averill has taken the checkered flag in first place. So a great pick for me, and we'll see TI Racing maybe try to dominate once again.
As you are,
Yeah, well, right.
Yeah, I mean,
saying that Tim Averill on the outside, he's going to take the lead here.
Yeah, Jay, we were both chomping at the bit to say that as he was coming down the straightaway there, peeked his nose in front of Matthew Wood going into turn 1. Is still going to be side by side with him down the backstretch. But yeah, Tim Averill and TI Racing, twice winners here before at iRacing Superspeedway, looking to get it done again and looking to make Tyler Ryan happy with his pick.
They keep catching that apron. I think they turn the wheel, and that tailwind is giving them a little more turn than they want getting into turn 3. Because, yeah, you just continue to see that, but now they've single filed out, right as I was about to talk about 2x2. But it really is all about working the draft down the straightaway to make your moves and then get in line for the corner and just wrap around the bottom as tight as you can. Because, yeah, the further up you go, it's not progressive banking or anything. It's just longer distance around the racetrack. You want to keep it tight to that bottom as we see them come off turn number 2. Matthew Wood leading the way all alone now, and Tim Averill in 3rd.
Yeah, we're talking about the difficulty with that transition into the banking, the difficulty with the tailwind that we're seeing. But another thing, when we were looking at the statistics before this race started, we noticed, and Josh noted, how high that track temperature was. 103 degrees track temperature is very high. So we might also be just seeing a little bit of that slipperiness of melting those tires in those really hot track conditions. So a lot of conditions adding up to where these trucks might not handle the best.
I mean, through that static cam there, we can A, see how fast these trucks are moving, and B, see the difference in the banking there between the corners and the straightaways, and see how the banking is just flat up the track. So just proves that you do want to stay as low as possible to be able to make it work as much as you can. As they go 3 wide there, Tyler Quinlan looks to the inside of Tim Averill. Doesn't make it work. Tim Averill moves up about 4 lanes there down the backstretch, but able to keep it clean. And that leaves Matthew Wood and Aaron Beaver all by their lonesome at the front of the field.
Yeah, I think Tim Averill was trying to pull his teammate Logan Hamilton there, but just very aggressive moves, and like pushing through the corner here is just so sketchy. These guys get left and right, and I mean, pushing the corner anywhere is definitely, you're riding that edge, but here it's just crazy how quickly things can go very wrong, and thankfully they all kept it straight there. But I was looking at the playoff bracket, and the guys we see out of the race, Stephen Shake, his rival was Chris Lewis, so Lewis will advance. Tim Averill up against Paul Tyler, we already talked about that one. Tim Averill is going to advance. And then we look further back, Jeremy Berger, who is still out there running the laps in the 21 truck. He's actually part of that lead pack, but he is up against Nick Wheeler, who is on the lead lap still, tail end of the lead lap, but on the lead lap nonetheless, so can't really call that one yet. And Matthew Wood up against, let's see here, Dalton Wilson, and those two still up front right now.
I will say, last time we came here was also a playoff race, also this same bracket style format, and we watched as, I believe, I can't remember who it was, but we saw one of these drivers come back from about 7 laps down to pass their rival who got in an accident late, and it was able to advance even though they were many laps down. So we could say the same thing happened for someone like Jeremy Berger, who sits 7 laps down. I also want to bring up real quick how important the draft is here, as we are down to just 11 trucks on the lead lap, with those who have lost the draft already going almost a whole lap down on this 12-lap run we've had so far, and Nick Wheeler looking like he'll be the next to go a lap down in just a couple laps here.
Yeah, and of course, we had a couple guys that didn't show up tonight in that playoff bracket. So, Logan Hamilton, that is, he's advanced, as well as, looks like, oh, never mind. However, we have, let me see here, Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith has also advanced. So, Logan Hamilton, Joseph Smith, and I'm willing to call it for Chris Lewis, I think. Well, Steven Shake, no, he's still out there, so won't call that one. But Paul Tyler up against Tim Averill, that one's definitely over.
Yeah, Tyler there and Carson Kenny to be specific, only 2 out of this race. Everyone else still making laps, some at quite a reduced speed, as we see out of drivers like Randy Cornwell, who is kind of inching along at this point, hoping for the best. He is unfortunately quite a bit down on pace. Cornwell this week up against Quentin Steinbach. Steinbach running just 1 spot ahead of him, also a lap down, 2 laps down, I should say. Both of them 2 laps down in the exact same scenario. Steinbach also with a good bit of damage. They're both actually running on the backstretch at a similar speed. So it's an interesting race there to see the 2 of them. Oh, as we drop down to pit road. Got a bit of issues. Going to see one going around. Oh, clips Jason Ford.
Truck.
They're going to stay green somehow. Aaron Beaver with a big hit there to the inside wall and to the door of Jace Lafort. As that left front fender there doing a bit of a dance.
But Jace Lafort there avoids absolute tragedy. I mean, you got tagged in the right rear quarter panel, so hopefully he can get that repaired and keep on going. But Tyler Clune's going to give him a run for his money here tonight. He's still out there. He's still cooking. He's on that lead lap as well.
Yeah, we see Jace Lafort does not really take any damage repairs there, because the risk that you run taking any repairs is losing the draft. So he goes out very quickly. He actually comes out, I think, second in that pack.
Oh, he's sideways. Holds on to it somehow. That was close there from the 9 truck.
What we might be seeing is a little bit of that damage. That truck's probably going to be a little bit ill handling until he gets the damage repaired. So he's really going to be looking for a caution to give him the ability to repair that truck further.
Matthew Wood here up to a huge lead off of pits. Over 2.5 seconds for that 16 truck over 3 Full Throttle Motorsports teammates of Joseph Smith, Chase Lafort, and lapped Nick Wheeler. The entire field did come down there, so no pit switch up or strategy here quite yet.
Yeah, I talked about it in the pre-race, and that transition getting onto pit road, very difficult here as you go from that banking to the flat, and you saw it firsthand right there. I mean, those guys just got out of shape. Of course, that truck came across and caught Jason Ford. Hopefully they can get that repaired. Doesn't look like he's too worse for wear, though, however. I mean, that handling, of course, like Tyler talked about, but should be in decent shape down the stretch here. And he's got some drafting help, of course.
Yeah, I figured as soon as he would get up to his teammate there, Joseph Smith, he'd be able to kind of figure it out. Getting onto the track after pit road is tricky enough as it is, and I'm sure that handling through the damage didn't help him, but you know, it is much easier to control once you're in a single file line with your teammate. So surely the 31 playing into account there and helping him out a bit. As I see another full throttle motorsports truck, Bryson Bird on the top side going 2 laps down.
I don't know about you guys, but I think it might be time for a little bit of crank it up.
You might be right, sir. We'll take a moment here and go to crank it up. Back from our crank it up section there, just over halfway through tonight's race, lap 28 of 50. Logan Hamilton still your race leader. Matthew Wooddo is outside with help from Joseph Smith. Looks like we're down to a 4-truck main pack, or at least 4 lead lap truck main pack. Jeremy Berger there. Bit of stowaway there as Matthew Wood takes back the race lead. 3 full throttle motorsports truck, 1 PI Racing truck, and Jeremy Berger makes up that top pack.
Yeah, just dropping back a second. Gotta love that crank it up with these wide open, unrestricted engines here at the iRacing Superspeedway. These boys are hauling as Logan Hamilton hits 202 through the center of 3 and 4 right there. It's crazy how fast these guys are going. He's getting up to 203 now down the front stretch.
Yeah, just a blistering pace around this 3-mile oval. I mean, a 3-mile oval, I mean, as is obvious, iRacing Superspeedway. Hold on, I gotta pause my sentence. I see Quentin Steinbach, Randy Cornwell going side by side for that playoff spot. Those two duking it out, going about half the speed of the rest of the field, but still in it. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, that's still a heck of a battle going on there. But yeah, hard to imagine this iRacing Superspeedway 3-mile oval is a real-life racetrack. The amount of safety concerns and issues that would bring up just is not feasible in real life. So glad we have it here on the iRacing service. Brought over from the Coca-Cola Speedway NASCAR Racing 2003 season. here to iRacing with some new branding, but definitely a fun track to drive and produces some pretty good racing too.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. Takes me back to the NR 2003 days and playing around on the computer, downloading some mods. And I think next we gotta get Pigs Creek on here. You know, the 4-mile goofy shaped high bank, very similar to this actually, but it's shaped almost like Pocono, and it'd be fun to have some more shenanigans out here, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, that and the old Dodge Raceway, I think it was called.
Oh yes.
Tiny racetrack, Coliseum built, but Logan Hamilton shoots to the outside of Joseph Smith and race leader Matthew Wood. He's going to get some help from Jeremy Berger now. And it seems like as this is happening, the field has split up quite a bit. Jace Laforte's fallen back outside of this main pack right here. But the second pack, made up of what will be Laforte, Wilson, Abril, and Chris Lewis, is actually gaining on that front pack. And it looks like they're going to make a 7 lead lap truck pack once again here very soon.
And we are working lap 31 here, so 30 laps complete, 20 to go, coming back to 19 to go. Time winding down here, and we're probably closing in on more pit stops. I'm not sure if it'll be the last stop, but strategy a little bit funky here with that around 13 lap fuel window. Of course, massive racetrack, but these guys are going to have to play a little strategy here toward the end, I believe.
Yeah, I know that it being a super speedway kind of throws a little bit of a wrench into what I'm about to say, but what I think we're seeing is a little bit is the strategy expertise and maybe the pit road expertise of Full Throttle Motorsports, and then maybe just a little bit more raw pace out of the TI Racing bunch, as that group of 3 trucks has caught your main pack of 4 trucks that Josh has been talking about. So if what Jay says is correct, where we're going to see maybe a little bit of a strategy race, I think that advantage might lead towards Full Throttle Motorsports, one of those trucks getting the win versus TI Racing. But if we just kind of have a head-to-head shootout right now, I'm kind of leaning towards those TI Racing trucks getting the edge in terms of victory here today.
Bell up front still heating up is, they're going to look 3 wide here and actually leave, who's that in the middle, the 31 truck. Going to get hung out to dry, and some lap traffic going to come into play. They're going to go
5
wide with lap traffic.
Woo.
Yikes. that had to scare the leaders a little bit, but how about Jeremy Berger? I mean, of course, down some laps here, but he's hung on real well here, and throw that guy a bone, give him a shot, because I think he'd contend for the win right now.
Unfortunately involved in that wreck very early on, finds himself many laps behind, running P16, but this lead pack here is shaping up to be a good old-fashioned TI Racing versus Full Throttle Motorsports shootout, as we see now 3 TI Racing trucks get up front into the top 3. Tim Abril takes over the lead with Logan Hamilton to his inside and Chris Lewis in tow. Looks like Joseph Smith is going to be the only Full Throttle Motorsports truck up in that very lead pack, but has help from Matthew Wood a little behind. Dalton Wilson also there helping out TI Racing. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now it's pretty much a 4-on-2 battle, TI Racing versus Full Throttle Motorsports in your top 6. It seems like at the moment, if we go green to the end, these are going to be the guys who are contending for that race win.
Yeah, and as we look at it right now, looking at the time and scoring, we have 9 trucks on the lead lap. Henry Clapper, the last one on the lead lap. He's 42 seconds back, so he's entering turn 1 right about now. So these guys will be catching him pretty soon here, but we've got 6 trucks involved in this lead pack, and then Jace Laforte 9 seconds back, Tyler Clunan 38 seconds back, and of course Henry Clapper, like I mentioned. Everyone else 1 lap down or more right now, and we see a couple guys 2 down, even 3 down. They're still out there, still moving, but just fighting adversity right now, and of course hoping that maybe their rival gets caught up in something and they move up and get that playoff spot. But this bracket challenge, very interesting to watch here, as we see a couple guys up front here battling it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, we're on. Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm gonna roll you on.
All right, yeah. Of course, we're on lap 35, coming to lap 36 now, but I love the first mention of Henry Clapper, the 34 truck on our race, coming on lap 34 there. Way to go, Jay, on that.
Well, of course, we love our IgniteSRN, or Ignite Sim Racing Network partners. Oh, battle heating up here up front as those guys were tagging bumpers there. Oh, wow. Looked like that 8-truck Dalton Wilson got way out of shape there, but maybe that's what you need to go fast, is he's going to move up to the... Oh! Into the wall!
Huh, it seemed like Joseph Smith getting really aggressive with the 8-truck there. Ends up sending him around into the outside wall. They're going to keep it straight, so they'll stay green here. But yeah, very, very aggressive move out of that 31 truck. Uncharacteristic, but gets to the lead because of it. So that takes one of their worries in Full Throttle Motorsports out of the competition, at least for now, as Tyler Clunan goes down pit road on the bottom of your screen. As it's going to be Full Throttle up front again. Joseph Smith, Matthew Wood sitting 1-2 right now. Tim Averill, Logan Hamilton, Chris Lewis, 3, 4, 5 right behind.
A heavy hit right there. Might have knocked the right front out. He's really got to get that fixed up because right now he's Dalton Wilson up against Matthew Wood. Matthew Wood still up front there running in the 16 truck. And that battle might have fallen apart here. I mean, the 8-truck, Dalton Wilson, he's still out there on track, still making time. He doesn't want to go a lap down, of course. But a heavy hit there. I was just getting ready to say maybe Luce is fast, but Lewstrom turned into a wall on the straightaway as we see trucks down pit road.
This is going to be our pit stop here. This is going to be the money stop, as I believe they can make it to the end on fuel. Matthew Wood going to be your leader down to pit road. Joseph Smith, Tim Averill side by side. Logan Hamilton, Chris Lewis also make it down safe. Yeah, Dalton.
I just want to say there, watching our top 3 trucks come down to pit road was beautiful. I mean, we know how good these guys are making it around super speedways, but seeing those 3 enter pit road at the speed that they did without locking up any tires, without getting sideways at all, those pit road entries for the top 3 and top 4 was just fantastic.
Seems like they're all going to get out of pit road without a hitch, so we'll keep that top 5 battle going.
Yeah, for sure. And one more thing about pit road here is getting off pit road can be tough. You really have to come out of the gas around the corner. It's a tight corner, especially when it's flat. And these guys are going to have to really modulate the throttle, maybe even a touch of brake just to, keep it going fast. But looks like all these guys are going to get in and out of pit road without any issues there.
Unfortunately for Dalton Wilson, he stays out and gets a lap lead. He is way off the pace, going 180, it seems, 190. A ton of damage to that right side. He was facing off against Matthew Wood, as you can see the 16 truck goes by him there as he shoots down to pit road. Logan Hamilton's going to be sitting P3, as it seems like Tim Averill and Chris Lewis lost a good bit of ground there. So not entirely sure what happened to those two, but they lost a bit of ground. They're going to be sitting a good bit behind these front two, and it seems like at this moment it's Full Throttle Motorsports' race to lose.
Yeah, I think Lewis and Abel just kind of slow on exit there, kind of taking their time getting around that corner, how Jay was talking about how difficult exit is here. But just as I said earlier, when it comes down to strategy and it comes down to pit road execution, we've seen Full Throttle Motorsports execute over and over and over again in this series. So like I said earlier, when it comes down to pit road and it comes down to strategy, Full Throttle might have the advantage there. But we'll see these two iRacing trucks linked up together, nose to bumper, or nose to tail, bumper to bumper. We'll see these trucks maybe pull a little bit closer to our leaders if they can get a lucky break here with some lap cars, or the leaders just maybe jockeying for position a little bit.
Yeah, looking at our bracket, a number of these battles already decided, but one I'm keeping my eye on, Jace LaForte and Tyler Clunan, of course, the 1 seed and the 16th seed, respectively. Those two are close to each other on track. They're actually one position separated. Tyler Clunan, unfortunately, one lap down right now, but Jace Lafort 30 seconds back from the lead. So that could be a thing to keep our eyes on, as well as Dylan Wilson, Matthew Wood, that battle. I mean, it's still out there. Matthew Wood currently running second right on the back bumper of Joseph Smith. But another one to watch for sure. And Smith, of course, has advanced. His rival did not race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, what has it got to be like to... I mean, you still have 10 laps to go here, but to know that you're moving on almost no matter what, I mean, what does that got to do to your confidence and, honestly, your driving style here as we get down to the closing laps?
I mean, just to piggyback off of that, I think knowing you're advancing throws everything else out the window. You can do whatever you want, really, on this racetrack compared to anybody that's in a tight battle. Just has to be conservative, has to make sure that, if anything, they are in front of their teammate, or sorry, their rival, while you have the ability to just do whatever you want when you know you're advancing.
Logan Hamilton was able to use Tyler Clunan there to help him get to the lead. Great run. We'll see if Joseph Smith goes back to being incredibly aggressive now that he's not your race leader as he shoots the outside. And yes, he will be aggressive to try to get back to that race lead. Clunan will be on the lead lap now, being that he's right in front of the leaders. But yeah, not a lot of help given to Logan Hamilton, of course, as he's got two rivals going up against him. Hamilton trying to make it to the next round. He's against Ryan Whitaker, who was not here tonight. So Hamilton will also advance. I believe that means that with Wilson effectively being out of this race, the top three trucks here have all advanced.
Just a development here, and this is, I believe, yeah, this is a big playoff development too, I believe. I'm not sure where Steven Shake is. He's still making laps. Might be okay. I'm not sure. We'll have to do a little bit of math there. But the 111 of Chris Lewis was pushing his teammate of Tim Averill, trying to catch that lead pack again. And, of course, these trucks, if you're locked nose to tail for really any amount of time, you're going to see those temperatures start rising. Chris Lewis is on pit road parked. That engine has expired on the 111, I believe just pushing his teammate too hard. So we'll have to do some math here. I know Shake is registered as 7 laps down now. Chris Lewis now following 1 lap down. That battle might get tight here at the end. I believe Shake, as long as he can keep it clean, might pass Chris Lewis.
Shake goes,
yeah, that's actually quite the development right there.
Shake goes 8 laps down now this time by. It's going to be close no matter what, because if Lewis's engine is expired, then that means that he's not making another lap today. And with just 7 laps to go, yeah, that's going to get tight. They're going to be either 1 lap apart or on the same lap by the end of this thing. Lewis, last season's champion, horrifying developments this early into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Jace Lafort up against Tyler Clunan, of course, the 1 seed and 16th seed. They're only separated by, that's 15 seconds. And they're making laps around the racetrack right now, but yeah, they're pretty much not separated by much here. We'll have to keep an eye on the timing here as we come back for 6 laps to go in the lead pack now.
Jace Lafort there getting a ton of help from his Full Throttle Motorsports teammates to keep him in front of that 20 truck of Tyler Clunan. I believe Lafort was fairly far off the pace with that damage that he got. Fell back 40 seconds on this lead pack, but now being pushed by a couple teammates there, being the 12 of Wheeler and the 53 of Bird, as well as Jesse Meyer in the 14, also 2 laps down. So a little bit of team games going on, but obviously trying to help out their teammate and team owner there, get him into the next round. Running P5 at the moment, so still a great day for Jace Lafort.
Yeah, just going back to the lead pack, Logan Hamilton's kind of sandwiched between a bunch of full throttle guys here, but he made a little dive getting into turn 3, and tried to get to the inside, but I think he thought better of it. It looked a little sketchy the way they were lined up, but 6 trucks on the lead lap. But another thing to keep our eye on here is these guys are pushing real tight together, and like Tyler said, that can get those temperatures in the engine up and could cause problems here as we're inside 5 to go, now like 4.5. These guys are going to push harder, but those temperatures definitely going to rise and become a threat as we see those 4 racing for the lead.
As we see the laps winding down here, usually we do this under caution, but we've had a great green flag run here at the end of this race. I hope I don't jinx it here, but just want to thank our league partner here and our sponsor for the league, Cornwall Barbecue. Just do a little bit of an ad read for you guys here. The American Thunder Superspeedway Series is brought to you by Cornwall Barbecue Sauce. Cornwall brings family-made recipes including sweet, spicy, and honey jalapeno to add flavor to your wings, barbecue, or anything else you want to sauce up. Cornwall Barbecue Sauce tastes of tradition. And of course, we thank Cornwall Barbecue for just being a league partner here, helping us with some of the funding that it requires to run some of these leagues here. And a lot of these, you see specifically the TI racing trucks with those Cornwall Barbecue paint schemes, and those look beautiful. We've got a couple of different paint schemes for the different flavors, I believe. But I just want to thank Cornwall Barbecue Sauce for everything they do for this series.
44 truck of Logan Hamilton with the Cornwall Barbecue Sauce, spicy right on that nose there. A spicy paint scheme as well as the, spicy flames, I guess you would call it, going up through the sides of that race truck. Looks very good leading out front. Usually you'd see with him being out front and leading the field that front end, but that front end is currently tucked right under the back bumper of Tyler Clune in there in the 20 truck. Still pushing him along, obviously getting some draft help from the 20, and right now I believe that's his best bet to try to hold off the Full Throttle Motorsports trucks of Joseph Smith and Matthew Wood.
Yeah, we're coming back to 2 to go. Battle I've kept my eye on, like I said, Jace LaForte, Tyler Clunan in the bracket is now shrunk to 13 seconds here. And maybe not enough time left right now, but that continues to shrink down to 12 seconds that time by. As we take the 2 to go, Logan Hamilton leading the way right now.
Not to shoot off your leaders, but since we're talking about playoffs, Quentin Steinbach has been able to gap away from Randy Cornwell there, so it looks like Steinbach most likely will take home the next playoff spot, 11 seed there with the 98 truck. Looking like he is going to move on to the next round of the playoffs in just 2 laps time.
Yeah, not quite ready to call it, but I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable maybe saying Chris Lewis might have been okay with his engine expiring there. Of course, he is now read as 6 laps down. As we come to the white flag here, Stephen Shake is 8 laps down, so I believe Chris Lewis just has just barely enough breathing.
I don't mean to cut you off. I think he's already behind him. On my end, Stephen Shake has scored ahead of Chris Lewis. As we take the white flag here, Logan Hamilton's still up front. So devastation for Chris Lewis, last season's champion, as he falls behind Stephen Shake here. Stephen Shake scored in P15. It's going to be Logan Hamilton trying to hold off Full Throttle Motorsports, Joseph Smith and Matthew Wood, as they try to get around him here for the race win.
Here they go, move to the outside, to the inside. The 31 is going to go around Joseph Smith. Lost it all on his own and taps the inside wall, but the battle continues on. Matthew Wood to the outside, Logan Hamilton. They're going to be side by side through the final turns.
Joseph Smith tried to make something happen, went a little too aggressive about it. Was it too spicy of a move as they're going to come down? Oh. Matthew Wood doors him. They're going to spin off of the
he
turn.
Turns him. They both crash. Who makes it to the line?
Matthew Wood is going to get the win.
He's going to win. But Logan Hamilton, he's got to fire that thing up, doesn't he?
Joseph Smith's going to take third. Logan Hamilton stuck on the apron there. The worst he can finish, though, is P5, or maybe P6 if Tyler Clunan gets around. Hamilton doesn't seem to fire it back up. It's going to be Jace LaForte coming around turn 4 as well. Going to pass him. But what a finish we just saw.
Yeah.
Thankfully for Matthew Wood. Sorry, not to
Oh, and
cut
they're
you
wrecking
off, but
again.
Thankfully for Matthew Wood, Dalton Wilson is 11 laps down, so he will advance. But, that could have been rough if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, just to reiterate there, Logan Hamilton doesn't quite get it back fired up, but he is okay because Whitaker did not show up tonight. So Logan Hamilton, of course, a harsh wreck there at the end, but he is okay in terms of playoff battle. And we'll see a replay here of the wreck at the end of the race.
Yeah, I apologize. I got my names crossed up there. Logan Hamilton had advanced already. His rival in Whitaker did not race tonight. That's my bad.
Yeah, we see that replay of a fantastic finish, and I just want to apologize to Chris Lewis. I did spoke a little bit too soon there, Josh. You were correct there. Stephen Shake finishes 1 lap ahead of Chris Lewis, whose engine expired just 1 lap sooner than it needed to. And Stephen Shake will move on past Chris Lewis. And I believe we said last season that we saw one driver stick it out there and come back from a lot of laps down to maybe progress in that playoffs. And Stephen Shake is that story today. He went down 8 laps and just stuck with it, continued making laps. And his playoff rival saw a little bit of trouble, and Stephen Shake will progress in the playoffs just by sticking it out.
Heck of a job from the 45 of Stephen Shake. He will live to see another round here in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. No burnouts coming from the 16 of Matthew Wood, but we're going to get our race results here from iRacing Superspeedway. Matthew Wood will take home the win after he goes wrecking down to the line. Looks like he did get a little help from the 20 of Tyler Clunan. Lap truck playing a big factor into the finish of this race. Matthew Wood will take home the race win. Tim Averill comes home in second. Joseph Smith, P3. Jace Lafort, P4. And Logan Hamilton rounds out your top 5. I believe all 5 of them will be moving on to the next round of the playoffs. Unfortunately for Tyler Clunan, comes up just short. Not able to get back by Jace Lafort here. So he will unfortunately lose his playoff spot there in the 20 truck. Henry Clappert comes home in P7. Nick Wheeler going to be P8. Bryson Bird P9. And Jesse Meyer rounding out your top 10 here tonight.
Yeah, looking further back, we've got a Brian Kay comes home in 11th place. He's 5 laps down alongside Quentin Steinbach, who just beats out Randy Cornwell to advance. He comes home P12, 5 laps down as well. Randy Cornwell, of course, P13. He's eliminated. Jeremy Berger, P14, 7 laps down, and he's also eliminated by Nick Wheeler. P15, Stephen Shake, and P16, Chris Lewis. Stephen Shake, of course, like Tyler mentioned, gets that 1 lap better, and he'll advance. P17, we've got Dalton Wilson. P18, Aaron Beaver. P19, Christian Berger. P20, Carson Kenny, and rounding our field, Paul Tyler, P21. And several guys there, unfortunately, going to lose out on their playoffs.
Looks like we're actually seeing Tim Averill trying to get teammate Logan Hamilton back to the line. I believe the race session has expired at this point, but those two... Oh, it seems like he's going to be able to do it. And he does it. Logan Hamilton will finish tonight's race at iRacing Superspeedway.
It's fantastic teamwork from TI Racing there.
Absolutely. And we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back with your race winner and interviews here tonight.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back after the finish of the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. And we have got your interviews here tonight. We're going to start off with race winner Matthew Wood. We're going to bring him into the booth. Matthew Wood is Josh in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Oh, congratulations on your win tonight. Bit of an unconventional one there, as big wall impact and a bit of a wreck coming to the line, but you get it done here. How were you able to get that one done tonight?
Well, I shouldn't have. Of course, that wreck was not intentional whatsoever. I was frustrated in the last few laps with Tyler, him being a lap truck and pulling Logan around us, and I felt like that was going to let the second pack catch us. And I was just trying to get Joseph to kind of stay back, and once they passed us, because I knew if we were going to be in the lead, they were just going to pull us back. And I had the fear that Logan was actually going to brake drag us back into Chris, and it looked like or Tim, I think it was. And for a little while, it looked like he was trying, but Tim just didn't have the help. So if he had an actual pack, I think it would have been a lose-lose scenario, because I think he would have dragged us back to him. But I don't know, the lap truck was pulling him along, and then I don't know what happened to Joseph. He tried to go low and then lost it because the lap truck was there. And then when I went to the high side of Logan, I kept it on his door, and then I was just hoping the lap truck would just leave it alone because, he's a lap down. But he doesn't. He tries to go and push Logan, and from the looks of it, he literally intentionally hooks me in the left rear coming off of the final corner because his wheel, it doesn't move much, but it moves enough to where he's literally turning right into my left rear and hooking me into Logan, and then we both go crashing across the start-finish line. So, unfortunately, I don't even think Logan made it, so I'm incredibly sorry to him, but there's nothing I could do. It was the lap truck of Tyler that literally, from the looks of it, intentionally took me out. So I don't know if it was intentional or not, whether he maybe thought the apron was coming up a little too fast and had to kind of turn off of it. I don't know. But I think, in my opinion, a little more spatial or situational awareness is needed. But I don't know if they were working together. I don't know that for sure. It's whatever if they're if they're on a team. But I don't know. I would have just backed out of the pack myself. But of course, fighting for the lead lap if there's a caution. So I don't know. I don't blame them, and I do at the same time. It's tough, but in this Full Throttle Motorsports gang, we were doing all we could tonight. Got taken out in that really, really big accident. A lot of us did. So, yeah, just sucks. Lost Chase there, final laps, and it's up to me and Joseph, which he did an incredible job. But I don't know. It's not the way I wanted to end it. Definitely not the way I wanted to win it. But here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I get you. Hamilton will advance as he was against Whitaker this week, and you will advance as well. So, looking towards next week, what's your plan going into the second round of the playoffs here?
To be honest, just really survive. It's just got to work together as a team to improve ourselves, and it's Atlanta, so it's another very technical racetrack, and it's going to be up to the team to stick together, not get involved in anything. And then we have Nashville and Daytona, so I'm hoping that I'm decent at Nashville, so I'm hoping if we can just get through Atlanta and survive Atlanta, then I should be good to go to the finale at Daytona. I don't know how that's going to go. Again, it's a super speedway, so we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go here, do you have any sponsors, family, friends to thank here before we get you out of here tonight?
I just thank my family for supporting me through everything I do in Full Throttle Motorsports. Again, we work very diligently to improve ourselves for not only us, but everybody around us. Shout out to, Logan, of course, again, I didn't want to wreck him, but, I kind of got wrecked into him, so good job to Tim and everybody else who was on the podium. Just thank everybody, and including Outlier Speed Co. We make the best setups on iRacing. Thank the Lord for what He's done for me, and thank Him for sending Jesus Christ for us. And we're all thinking about our brothers and sisters in Venezuela. At least 30,000 missing right now from those earthquakes. So this race wasn't about us in my heart. It was about them. So just unimaginable horrors going on in Venezuela with those earthquakes, with entire families missing. So it's just a terrible, heartbreaking situation. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough to see and tough to hear about, and obviously prayers up to everyone down there going through those earthquakes. But once again, I'd like to congratulate you on your win tonight, and hopefully we see you in just 1 week's time.
Thank you.
That was Matthew Wood joining us in the broadcast booth, your winner here tonight. Once again, want to thank him for taking the time to come up and talk to us here after this 50-lap affair here at iRacing Superspeedway. Second place is going to be the 3 truck of Tim Abril, and we'll get him into the booth for an interview.
Hey, Tim, it's Tyler up in the IgniteSRN broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, it was a interesting race to say the least. We only saw 4 trucks finish on the lead lap, and you finished in P2. What did you see there coming to the end of the race there, and how did you manage to come to second after falling back a little bit there at the end of that race?
Yeah. We coming off pit road, ended up just losing the draft a little bit, and then me and Chris Lewis were able to hook up, and we were catching the lead pack, but then Chris unfortunately blew an engine. So then I was with a couple other guys, and I think they had some damage, and there was like us 3 versus the lead pack of 4, so we weren't able to catch them. So I was pretty much just leading that second pack, hoping that the leader pack would wreck, so I could maybe get lucky and come away with one. And they did wreck, and I was able to sneak in with second. I think Joseph Smith got loose, or something happened like the lap prior to the white flag, and then Logan and Matthew got into it off of turn 4, and I was able to come past Logan. I had to come all the way back around and push him across the line, but Matthew Wood was able to bounce off the wall and cross the line before I could get to him.
Yeah, definitely interesting into that race there, and a lot of stuff happening in a 3-mile oval here. I just want to tell you, before the race, I picked you to win this race, and I also picked you to win the championship, so I'll be rooting for you throughout these next 3 races. But we went through mid-race and looked at some of the stats and saw that you had won on both of the other occasions that the series has come to this track. So just kind of wondering, is there something about this track that you enjoy, or have you maybe just enjoyed a little bit of luck when it comes to those other 2 wins at this track, and then now adding a second place to that series of wins that you got at this track? Is there anything special about this track that you like in particular?
This track's different than all the other tracks, especially like on the restrictor plate side. All restrictor plates are the same, pretty much full throttle, but this one's like completely different with the way the banking of the corners and everything, and you can get some crazy runs. And I think where I just come out on top or whatnot is I'm not really scared to take advantage of the run. I'm not scared to go 3 wide, 4 wide. So I'd say a little bit of luck has definitely happened to where, like, when I have made those kind of moves that I didn't, a wreck didn't happen. On those other 2 wins that I had here, pretty much I try to have the same strategy every week. Try to start somewhere up towards the front and kind of stay there. Obviously, with these, you can get shuffled back and stuff happens and whatnot. But like I said, the last couple times I come here, I've led a lot of laps. I love this track. I've won here in other leagues as well. But yeah, this is the first time I've lost in this league on this track. But like I said, still coming over the second. I mean, it's great. I mean, there's 21 guys in this server, so coming away second's pretty good. But obviously, would have been happy with that first spot. And then I appreciate you picking me as your pick to win the championship. I'll definitely try to fulfill that for you. That's my plan.
All right, man. Well, like I said, congratulations on that second place finish. Not quite the first that we were hoping for, but we got the second place finish. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank that helped you get along to the second place finish today?
Just want to thank all the guys at TI Racing, all the guys back at the shop. Like I said, we all work together and do good. I mean, we were running up front there tonight. We had led a lot of laps. Logan led a lot of laps. I led some laps. Dalton was there with us. Dalton unfortunately got wrecked, or he'd have been with us at the end. Chris blew up, or I think he'd have been with us at the end. Randy got into a wreck early, which unfortunately took him out for most of the race. But like I said, all guys back to shop. We're got a couple of us advancing in playoffs, so there we go there. And give a shout out to Cornwall Barbecue Sauce sponsoring us. If you haven't had a bottle, get you some. We got 3 great flavors, sweet, honey jalapeno, and spicy. My favorite is the honey jalapeno. And give a shout out to some of the guys that I sent the link to, Captain Locker and Tony Perkins. And also give a shout out to my wife, sent her the link as well. And then lastly, I want to give a shout out to you guys for putting on these broadcasts. Definitely appreciate what you guys do and hanging out with us here.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. And like I said, congratulations on the P2. And I can't speak for the other 2, but I'll definitely be rooting for you as things continue, as you are my pick to win the playoffs. So congratulations today, and thank you for joining us up in the booth.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too, buddy.
That was April.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, I think we've lost Joseph Smith. He left the waiting room, so I'm not sure we'll get to interview P3 here. But go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I was actually about to say the same thing. So Joseph was waiting, but yeah, I mean, it popped out. I guess got busy. So unfortunately, we will not get an interview with Joseph Smith here tonight. But comes home P3 after that spin down the backstretch on the final lap. Yeah.
I do have the bracket updated here if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so looking at our bracket here, Jace LaForte will advance over Tyler Clunan, and then Nick Wheeler advances over Jeremy Berger. Unfortunately, Berger got caught up in that initial wreck, that big one. Excuse me, not the initial one, the big one that took out half the field. Joseph Smith advances. His rival didn't race tonight. And Stephen Shake will pass Chris Lewis, and he'll move up. So another upset right there. Or the first of our upsets right there. Tim Averill, of course, like we just talked to, he advances over Paul Tyler. And Quinn Steinbach, another upset right there. Advances over Randy Cornwell. He moves up. And Logan Hamilton, he moves on. And Matthew Wood will move on as well. So we're looking at Jace LaForte up against Nick Wheeler. Joseph Smith up against Stephen Shake. Tim Averill and Quinn Steinbach will go at it. And Logan Hamilton and Matthew Wood. It'll be an exciting one at Atlanta for sure. I'd call this place the toughest Superspeedway on the service, but Atlanta might be tougher in all honesty.
Yeah, definitely interesting to watch for in just 1 week's time. I believe the biggest gap there is going to be, in seeding at least, is going to be the 13 seed of Stephen Shake going against the 5 seed of Joseph Smith. So those two will go head to head in just 1 week's time, as well as 4 other battles that we will see come up. Or 3 other battles. My goodness, I can't count. Come up at Atlanta in just 1 more week. But A good race here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway for the American Thunder Superspeedway Series with Matthew Wood taking home the win over... Actually, I just realized this is a bit of deja vu from just 1 week ago at Auto Club. Matthew Wood breaks Logan Hamilton's heart 1 week ago at Auto Club and does it again here tonight. Takes home the win over Logan Hamilton as they wreck coming to the start-finish line. So back-to-back weeks of a bit of heartbreak for the 44 truck. I'm sure he'll be looking to rebound stronger than ever in 1 week's time in Atlanta. Well, after 50 laps of this one, do you guys have any closing remarks for the fans at home?
Yeah, I'll just throw in there that great race tonight. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, that big wreck took out a lot of guys, but still got some exciting racing out of it and fun battle to the end. And of course, like you mentioned, those two seem to put on a show every time they come off turn number 4. So maybe something to keep our eyes on going forward. But yeah, Atlanta next week going to be a lot of fun. It's a 1.5-mile racetrack. We go from the biggest super speedway to the smallest, and those boys are not going to have a lot of room to work compared to out here. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch, and I think we'll get an exciting show. 8 laps there will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also had a great time tonight watching this race. Of course, only 4 trucks finishing on the lead lap isn't exactly what you want to see, but after some of the races earlier in the season where we had quite a few cautions, I really enjoyed seeing the green flag running that we had today, and stretching out that pack a little bit does throw just something a little bit different at us, and it was something enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. And we had a great finish, a little bit of controversy there at the end, but nothing too bad. A lot of good playoff battles and just overall good racing here from the American Thunder Superspeedway Series, so I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Absolutely. We once again appreciate these guys at the American Thunder Superspeedway Series for having us out to broadcast their races. And also, before we let you go, want to give a big shout out to Cornwall Barbecue Sauce for coming on and sponsoring these guys in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. If you don't have a bottle of Cornwall Barbecue Sauce, you should change your mind and get one right about now, as a better time than any, as they are delicious. So I want to give a big shout out to them for helping these guys do what they do and putting on these races here in the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. But once again, it has been an absolute pleasure to be here in the booth tonight, calling out this league once again, and we cannot wait to see everyone in just 1 week's time at Atlanta. This has been Ignite Sim Racing Network, your home for the American Thunder Superspeedway Series. Signing out of this one, we hope you all have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks again for coming out and watching. See you in a week's time.